All right, so I'm going to start with my worksheet. Hi, my name is Kristen. I will be teaching eighth grade science. So the lesson that I chose to focus on was it's labeled um, Living Things Need Energy, and it's based on the food chain slash food web. So the first one, instructor centered, is direct instructions. The students will demonstrate an understanding of the food chain by reading through the textbook section and answering review questions. So the class will start with completing bell work, which will involve a question that will play off of previous knowledge that students have learned from previous classes that they have taken. And then we will do a PowerPoint where I have a PowerPoint that's completely filled out, and the students will have a PowerPoint that has blanks that they will need to fill in as we go through the lecture. There'll be different questions or just different blanks to fill in. After we complete the lecture, then the students will complete the textbook reading and answering the review questions for that section. The interactive teaching strategy I chose was interactive instruction. The students will work in small groups. They will have a worksheet. So they'll start with getting in their small groups, grabbing a worksheet, putting their entire group's name on it, and being ready for class. The students will follow along with the PowerPoint. They'll each have their own PowerPoint to fill in as we go through the lecture, but then there will be certain stopping points in the PowerPoint lecture where the students will work in their small groups and answer the questions. They'll talk about it, then they'll answer, and then they'll share their answer with the entire class. Finally, the students will answer the questions on the worksheet, which includes finding vocabulary definitions in their textbook and labeling the different parts of the food chain and web. Next, we have individualized or independent study. This teaching strategy can be done individually or in partners. So I chose to do partners. So the students will read with a partner. While they're reading, they're going to pull out important information that'll help them at the end of class. So they'll start with a multiple choice question worksheet. They'll complete it on their own. Then the students will pair up with their partner. They'll read through the textbook select section. While they're reading, they're going to pull out 5 important things they learned from each little subsection. And then with their partner, they will go over their questions, the bell work questions, and correct the answers that they got wrong. Finally, the students will complete the review questions at the end of the textbook on their own and then hand it in. Then finally, experimental. They're going to actually create their own food chain web to present to the class. So they'll start with bell work, which will be defining, describing, or drawing what a herbivore, carnivore, and omnivore is. And then they will go ahead and create their own food chain web example, which will include a source of energy, a producer, 6 consumers, and 1 decomposer. And these are all different parts of the food chain that are incorporated anyways. And then the students will present their food chain to the class and compare their example to their partners. When they're comparing it to their partners, they're going to describe the similarities and differences present between their presentations and what's different between them, maybe the animals they chose, the source of energy, all that stuff. All right. So struggles I faced with this assignment was really overthinking each strategy. I feel like I was going overboard and not just going with what needed to be done. Next is the takeaways. I found it important to really incorporate these different teaching strategies into lesson planning. It really showed me how a lesson plan can go many different ways to incorporate many different teaching strategies. The same lesson can be taught in so many different ways. Some differences I could see between online learning and face-to-face learning would be it's going to be harder to complete the group assignments for sure. You can't always break up the kids where you can still see them. So yes, you can do breakout rooms, but the instructor is not always able to attend every single breakout room. So you don't know if students are fully participating, if they're completing anything, if they're actually staying on task. The other thing that I think would be hard would be completing the hands-on activities. If we are not able to send home materials for them to do the activities, they might not be able to go buy the materials, especially in my district. So I think that would be a huge difference, that we'd have to find something online where they could make it instead of doing it on like paper and drawing and stuff like that. Um, I think the COVID-19 impact has really forced teachers to think about how lessons can be versatile, how they can move from being in person to online quickly. So that is my strategies.